It's okay. I wouldn't call it ideal, but we'll live. It simply goes in as a 0 until you finish it. But it goes into the grade book Wednesday by the end of the day. Okay? Any questions on that? The other thing is we're working on your undergrad paper. We're working on it together. And I cut this out. This was yesterday's newspaper. Listen. Yesterday's newspaper. Student charged for refusing to pledge. A student from Tampa, Florida suburb is facing a misdemeanor charge after an apparent confrontation with his teacher who wanted him to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. The 11-year-old, so we're talking about 5th grade or 4th grade or whatever. What are 11-year-olds? Pretty young. Okay. 6th grade. Okay. The 11-year-old refused to recite the pledge, telling his teacher that he believes the flag is racist and America's national anthem is offensive to Black people, according to a Bay News 9 report that cited a statement the teacher gave to district officials. The teacher, who was a substitute at Lawton Chiles Middle Academy in Lakeland, Florida, then had what appeared to be a contentious exchange with the 6th grader. The student was later charged with disruption of a school facility and resisting an officer without violence. Police said further information cannot be released because of the student is a minor. So anyway, kind of interesting that you might have wondered, like, why are we debating this? But it's real. This is a real thing. But
so 6th grader resisted arrest?
Yeah, I'm guessing, as is so often the case, there was the initial act and then there was the second act. Remember, Nixon did not get in trouble for Watergate. Nixon got in trouble for covering up Watergate. So oftentimes, this is just a bit of advice, all right? Allow me to stand on my little soapbox here and give you a little bit of advice. When you mess up and you get caught, just say, sorry, I shouldn't have done that. That was stupid. Don't say, no, it wasn't me. Because now you're making it worse. Just say, yeah, God, you're right. I shouldn't have done that. Right? I shouldn't have cheated. I shouldn't have smoked. I shouldn't have. Just accept it, man up, move on. There, I'm off my soapbox. Okay. As far as your paper is concerned, we're writing it together. So no need for you to work ahead. I don't need you to work ahead. We're working on it in class as a group. Okay. Having said all that, now what? Okay. Look. We get to start our study of religions and cults. How you form them, how you join them, proper hand signals, and jokes. How do you know if you're in one? Nobody in a cult says we're in a cult. People in a cult think they're a legitimate religious organization. Nobody in a terrorist group says I'm a terrorist. They think they're the freedom fighters. It's others who label terrorists as terrorists. This is true. Osama bin Laden, the founder of Al-Qaeda, said the Americans were the terrorists. You're the terrorists because of things that the United States had done, and that we're the freedom fighters. Okay, so allow me to read through this. If you'll notice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 10 options. That's 10 of you. 10 of you are signing up for this. There are more than 10 of you, which leaves persons 11 through however many are in this class, I don't even know, with some options. You can simply choose to not do a religious project. Fine. Our next unit, you'll be up. Our next unit is crime, I think. And you'll be looked to as sort of the leaders of that unit. Future classes in here will be crime, race. Our 4 biggies are family, crime, race, and religion. Those are the 4 biggies. Now, it doesn't take us to the end of the year. We will also study the media, Trump. God, I bleeped on you. Sorry. And other things, okay? Now, let's say that you're person 11 and you really want to do this project. Great. come up with your own cult. It's not on this list. Google cults. See what it comes up with. Okay, super. And then you'll follow this. Having said that, pretty soon I'm going to walk by with Mr. Fishbowl. If this looks like something that you think you're interested in, put your name in Mr. Fishbowl. I draw names out. You tell all of us which one you're signing up for. If 8 of you bother putting your names in, I am not going to force 2 more of you to put your names in. It'll be 8 of you. I hope at least 5 of you sign up. I mean, you did sign up for this class. Anyone? I won't be offended here. Is anyone in this class you did not want to be? They just threw you in here. Get out. No. Sometimes that happens, and I'm sorry, but hopefully you are fine. Okay. So there they are. People's Temple, Shakiro, Heaven's Gate, the Manson family, the Branch Davidians, Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, the Order of the Solar Temple, the Via Bavaria, the Cargo Cults, that's a crazy one, and the Raelians. All right? Should you sign up for one of these, you become the expert, and you're presenting to the class March 5th. March 5th. Today is February 19th, so it's not next week. Yeah, it's not next week, but it's the week after, Tuesday. Okay? It's 2 weeks from today is when this is due. I think that's right. Okay. And what are you doing? So you sign up for one of these. I'm not saying that these are cults. I don't want to offend anyone that might be a member of one of these groups. It's just that others have said these are cults. And we will in this class try and identify what's a cult. What's the difference between a cult and just a small, weird religion, and as opposed to a large religion, a denomination, or an ecclesia. What's the difference? What makes a cult a cult? We will attack this. Okay. The second big bullet, requirements. What do you need? I need some sort of a Google presentation, right? With the title slide, your name, your group. And then it says they're 5-minute minimum to 10-minute maximum, but on the overhead it says 3 to 6. So will you please change this? It's not 5 to 10, it's 3 to 6. Good God, I don't want to listen to you for 10 minutes. That does not mean I'm going to have a timer and at 6 minutes and 1 second screen. But you'll know. Visuals. I want visuals. Don't have the name Charles Manson. Have a picture of Charles Manson. And then you tell us this is Charles Manson. Okay? Visuals. Does that mean you can't have words? No, of course not. You can have some words. It's fine. But make it visual rather than we're reading along with you. It says you can have a note card. Great. This will make more sense as we get into this class, but you need to identify your cult as either a destructive cult, a doomsday cult, a political cult, or a polygamous cult. Generally speaking, sociologists say that cults are one of 4 types. Destructive cult is the members engage in violent behavior to change what they see as a sick society. So they engage in violent behavior. Okay? Doomsday cults, the world is going to end. Let's help it end. Okay? So a lot of times, destructive cults and doomsday cults have similar characteristics. They both engage in violent behavior. It's just that doomsday cults engages in violent behavior to bring about the end of the world. Okay? Political cults are cults that affect government. And then polygamous cults believe in polygamy. Multiple
like
wives.
very specific categories.
They are. It's quite possible that you'll find a cult. You might find a cult that doesn't fit. Generally, they fit one of these.
Would they fit more than one?
So you just do like a brief description of what a cult is.
I promise I will. All right, and then I have this handout that I will give to you soon. Those of you who sign up for one, and it's just sort of a checklist. Does your cult have this? I mean, if you check enough of them, yep, you're a cult. Okay, and then a bibliography. Okay, now the last bullet is things I would suggest you include. These are simply suggestions, but what does your cult believe? What do they teach? I mean, one of these cults believes that the alien spaceship is behind the comet. So they engaged in mass suicide when that comet was as close to the Earth as it would get, and they believe their souls teleported to the spaceship and they flew away. So what's wrong with that? All right. What do they teach? What are their beliefs? Right. Second bullet. Why do people think it's weird? A cult. A simplistic definition of a cult is this: they're weird. They have weird beliefs. Odd. Okay. Well, why? What is it that's weird? And again, I will clarify. Here's another characteristic of a cult. What makes a cult a cult? The bad ending. Cults oftentimes have the end. It's over, right? They commit mass suicide, or they engage in that one cataclysmic event where they blow up the end. That was the end of that thing. Any of you ever heard of the Branch Davidians? Bad ending to that one. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the cults had bad endings.
Which 5?
No. Yes.
What was the Jonestown Massacre called?
Yeah, that was the People's Temple. The Jonestown. Yep, very good. All right. Another one. Oh, where did it begin? Who began it? When did it begin? Where did it begin? Why did it begin? Rituals. What are their ceremonies? Any of you that are, you go to church on Sundays, the ceremony would be, for those of you who are Christian, the person in the front is standing on an altar, and then they take bread, and then they break it, and wine, and you touch certain parts of your body, and he says something, then you say something, then you say something together, and sometimes you stand, and sometimes you kneel, and sometimes you sit, and sometimes you shake hands. This is all ritual. It's all ritual. The Aztec had a different ritual. They cut out the hearts of their prisoners, threw them into the fire god that lived in the temple below. Their ritual is slightly different than rituals today. Right, what about your cults? What rituals do they engage in? Okay. How about here? There's another characteristic of a cult. Do people struggle to get out? Right? Again, think of you. You might be a member of a church. If you said to the leader of that church, "I quit," and turned around and walked out, if 2 huge guys, one named Gunther and another one named Bubba, grab you and turn you around, you might be in a cult. Okay? Are there examples of difficult exit strategy? Right? And then the last one here that I have is just a suggestion is, who's the charismatic leader? Oftentimes cults have that one person, and with his demise, the cult ends. When he ends, the cult is over. Where cults evolve is when they keep going, even though the leader's done. They keep going. That's called a bureaucracy. Like tomorrow, if I get in a car accident and I'm done, they'll replace me easily, right? That the school is not dependent on Mr. Potter. I'm very replaceable, as the principal likes to tell me. Anyway, if your cult's leader dies and that ended the cult, then that's a good sign that is a cult. Okay? So if this looks interesting to you, put your name, just tear out a little piece of paper. Yes, I'll take them. Yes, you bet. I will just tear out a normal sized piece of paper, put your name on it. I'll walk by with Mr. Fishbowl. And you'll sign. You in?
I'm actually.
Good.
Talking to how you usually on the same teacher.
Good guy. You made me feel old. That's 2. That's 3. Nope. 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 That's 4. We have enough. That's 5. Awesome. 6, 7. Nope. Yep. That's 8. Interested? Nope. You. Okay, wait. Very good. Those of you who didn't sign up, if you change your mind, great. Just let me know.
Probably won't. Bagua, Shri, Raja.
Order of the Solar Temple.
That sounds good.
They're all good.
That sounds good.
Okay, I draw your name. Just tell me which one you're picking. AJ.
I'll go with Bagua, Shri, Rajanish.
Rajneesh. Do you get Netflix?
Yeah, I did.
There's a 4-part series on that cult. It's called Country of God, or shoot.
I think I might have just typed in this.
Yeah, fascinating. They bought land in Oregon. They moved from India to Oregon, and they bought out all this land next to this normal town, right? Just these normal people, and suddenly there's this group there, and it's insane. They like poisoned the fast food restaurant to get the people to leave them alone. It's insane. It's called. I'm gonna think of it, and I'll get back to it. Absolutely insane. My favorite signature ever, Gracie.
Can I do the cargo codes?
The card. God, they're crazy. Yeah. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll let you discover how nuts they are
Okay.
in a harmless way. It's funny. Kai. Raelians. Straight from Star Trek. You know, there's a religion now. They're attempting to get U.S. tax exemption status. The religion of the Force. They take what the Star Wars teaches it, and they made a real religion. So far, the U.S. government has said, nah, no, you're not a religion. You're a movie. Let's see. Jasmine. Which one? Another good one. They're all good. Peter?
Shinrikyo.
Second one. Okay. Yeah, how do you say that? Aum Shinrikyo. Aum Shinrikyo. All right. Abigail.
Via Bavia.
How you go with the people's temple? All right. And Ridley?
Out of the Manson family, Branch Davidians, and the Order of the Solar Temple, which one would be?
Oh, they're all good.
What's like the craziest?
Do the Branch Davidians.
Okay, Branch Davidians.
And Jake. Okay. So this is what I got. Peter with Am Shinrikyo, Jasmine with Heaven's Gate, Ridley with the Branch Davidians, AJ with the Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, Jake with the Order of the Solar Temple, Abigail with Via Bavaria, Grace with the Cargo Cults, and Kai with the Raelians. Yes? Okay, again, if you're not one of these people and you think, well, I wouldn't mind learning about People's Temple, great. Or the other one that's available is the Manson family. Fascinating. He just died. Charles Manson just died. You're always welcome to sign up a little bit later. Okay, any questions? Give you a 2-minute break here while I set up the next thing. We're just going to cover a little bit of material, and then you have the rest of the hour to kind of start thinking about it, including finishing up of the 4 little tests. I need a minute. Anything else?
Yeah.
Everything all right?
I don't remember. So like when I go onto Kia on like a computer, it allows me right away. But then when I try to do it on my phone, it says like username and password. And it says it's invalid.
Really?
So maybe I just don't remember.
Yeah, and you probably saved it, but you forgot.
Yeah.
So you don't remember what it says.
So I just did it on the computer because it just logged me in right away.
Yeah. Something you could do, which is just fine, is just joining.
Wait. You
Just join as another person.
Wait, didn't everyone's password was the same though, right?
Nope. You made your own. And I have no idea what it is.
Wait, hold on. I might know what it is.
I thought it was.
Can I switch to the Mason?
How long is this next segment gonna be?
Wait, was everyone's?
You mean our study of cults?
No, just this for the classes, so we're gonna have time at the end.
I don't know,
No, for using.
10 minutes.
Your name? I think you also wrote it.
Yeah, you made.
Okay,
Shoot.
So let's start talking about religion. It's a touchy subject, and when we are talking about religion, I am absolutely not trying to make any of you who are religious, I'm not trying to offend you in any way, right? Don't go home and say, Mr. Patrick, and then I get a phone call, you got to break my religion. Just, it's not about what your faith is, okay? We're just looking at religion overall the way a sociologist would look at religion. And the first thing we need to do is define it. What is religion? Ready? Religion attempts to answer questions that cannot otherwise be answered. Religion attempts to answer questions which cannot otherwise be answered. 2,000 years ago, they looked at the big ball in the sky, and little boy said, "What is that?" And the dad said, "Fire God," because they could not explain it otherwise. But then science. So science started answering that question. So religion shifted. 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago, they said, "Hey, what's that?" And they said, "Moon God, fire God, wind God, rain God." How come it rains, Dad? Because we put Fido and killed him. To the God of rain, we sacrificed Fido the dog so that we could get rains. Because they didn't understand. Why does it rain? Why does it rain? They didn't know. So religion answered that question. But then science emerged. So religion shifts. Notice I'm not saying religion decreases. All I'm saying is it shifts. Science will never answer the question I'm about to ask. It'll always be within the realm of religion. Ready? Why do we suffer? What's the point? The best science can do is say, well, you suffer because when you took the hammer and crushed your thumb, little signals went for your thumb to your brain that said, ow. But why do we suffer? What kind of a world is it where your grandma dies and then you feel ow in your heart? Why? Why did the Germans do that to the Jews? Why? Science will never answer that question. That'll always be in the realm of religion and faith and morality. Okay, so there's some things that only religion can answer. And that's what makes it religion. So some other things that science can't answer. Why are we here? What's it all about? Science would say, well, a long time ago, big boom, life. That's not what I'm asking. What I mean is, why are we here? What's the point? If it's just, well, there's these random atoms and we just happen to align correctly and life, that's a different question. What's the purpose, right? Think about this. Only you can answer this question. Do you believe that there's a plan? That there's a plan? Does God have a plan for you? You think so? Then religion is a part of your life. If you think that life is simply a random act of billions of creatures that are just interacting, fine. But religion suggests this is part of a bigger story. And I'm not here to say you're right or wrong. That's only for you to decide. Okay? Science will never answer that question. Never. What happens after? That's the realm of religion, right? I would venture to say that some of you have strong opinions about what happens after. You believe, right? You believe in something, life after death, or maybe you think nothing happens. What's the point? Okay, let's think about, can math answer these questions? If you were to go to Mr. Schultz and say, hey, Mr. Schultz, why are we here? Would he say, well, and then write an equation? Right? See, that's why. And you're looking like, yeah, y plus x equals b. Thanks. All right, thanks, Mr. Schultz. No, right? Does atheism answer these questions? Atheism is the belief that there is no God. There's no life. So is death the end? The atheist says, yes, death is the end. The end, says the atheist. Many of us probably in this room are agnostic. Anyone know what that means? What does it mean?
Basically, you're open to the belief of something,
Right.
but you're just not sure. You
Pretend I'm an agnostic. Ask me if death's the end. Go ahead.
Is that the end?
I don't know. Agnostic. Right? I don't know. Hey, I cooked eggs this morning, and I might have left the oven on. But I might not have left the oven on. I don't know. Now, I might start my own religion, the I left the oven on religion, and I get converts who believe that I left the oven on. You have faith that I left the oven on. You are the oven on religion. And another group of people that says, no, he turned the oven off. You believe I turned the oven off. And then there's a third group that says, I don't know. I don't know what he did. Agnostic. Okay.
Why do you use the oven to cook eggs?
Stovetop. There. Okay. Communism is an economic system. It says government shall own all land and all businesses. Can communism answer these questions? Communism doesn't answer these questions. Economic systems do not answer these questions. History does not answer these questions. Is death the end? Well, let's look at George Washington. How would he know? Okay. The only thing that answers these questions is religion. Let's look at this pie chart, and then we'll move on to the next slide here. This is a breakdown of the world's population as far as religion is concerned. Okay? Anyone see what is the biggest piece of pie? Yeah, Muslim. 19.8 what? 19.8 what? 19.8 Muslims? There are more of you in here than Muslims. 19.8%, exactly. 19.8% of the world's population are Muslim. So about 1 in 5. So statistically, 1 in 5 of you in this room are Muslim. Right? Did you know that statistically, two of you in here right now are in China? Because China represents a significant portion of the population. The world's population is what, 7 billion? And China's population is about 1.5 billion, which means 1.5 out of every 7 people is in China right now. There's about 14 of you in here right now. 2 of you are in China right now. Who's in China right now? Anyone in here in China? No, you're not.
I don't know if that's how it works.
Yeah, it's probably not how it works. Okay, very good. Now, this is deceiving because the single biggest piece of pie are Muslim. However, this is a category called Roman Catholics. This is a category called Protestants. This is a category called Orthodox Christians. This is a category called other Christians. This whole thing from here, including all of this chunk right here, they're all Christian. They're all Christian. It's just that they have slightly different beliefs than other groups of Christians. For example, the yellow team, Catholics, their leader is Pope. Well, Orthodox Christians, they have a different leader. And they might have some small religious differences. For example, Catholics actually believe that you can pray to these people called saints. They're almost like minor gods, right? Hey, you lost your keys. Well, pray to the saint of lost keys. And then you pray to the saint of lost keys. And then you find your keys. Thanks, patron saint of lost keys. Oh, you got to lose some weight. Oh, pray to the saint who helped you lose weight. Oh, saint who helps us lose weight. Help me lose weight. Maybe lose weight. Thanks, patron saint of lost weight. I'm making light of this, but you get the idea. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was asking one of my friends about that because I was like, why are you praying like
Say to whoever.
saints when if you're like Catholic, you should only have one God and like only one God, blah, blah, blah. And they said that you're praying to them so they can send the message.
Correct. That they intercede on your behalf.
Which kind of confuses me, but I mean, it makes sense, I guess. I don't know.
Religions have no rules. You can start your own religion. Almighty Snowbank, thank you for giving us life. We know you'll go away come around May, but you'll be back. Fine, start your own religion. This is America. Go ahead.
Aren't a lot of saints actually named after real people?
I'm sorry, what?
Aren't a lot of saints named after
Oh, yeah.
actual people?
They're historical people. Absolutely. Yep. These are real people. Yep. Their lives may have earned folklore status, right? I mean, there's this person named Saint Nicholas. Today we call him Santa Claus. He was a real person, but I don't think he got in a sleigh and followed reindeer, right? Their lives grew into this other thing. Okay. Any questions here? Okay. The last thing we're noting here, and then we're going to shift gears, is why religion? What do you get out of it? I will just go over these things that I'm going to call. What do you people who are religious, and I'm assuming that there are people in here who are religious, what do you get out of it? And sociologists say, well, there are three purposes. Now, are there more than three? Sure. But look at these three things and think about it. The first bullet says, religion allows you to do something, right? Did you know that there is a very sad genocidal situation in the middle of Africa right now? Did you know that? Right there, that country right there. It's called Sudan. There is a genocidal situation happening in Western Sudan. Is there anything you can do about it? You can pray about it. See, religion gives you power. It gives you power. Let's pray. Again, I'm not making light of this. There are people that believe in the power of prayer, that you can pray and affect things halfway around the world. That allows you to pray. Okay? The second thing is it makes you see the big picture, right? So grandma dies in a car accident. Sorry if I'm bringing up some people memories. Let me do that, right? And religion allows you to say she's in a better place, right? It gives you sort of peace of mind. Life is more than the biological makeup of atoms, and you live on Earth for a while and then you end. You see the bigger picture. Grandma's in heaven and she's looking down on us, right? And then the third is it gives meaning. It gives meaning to your life. Any of you are Christian. Have you ever heard a priest or a minister say something like this? That we all have our cross to bear. Have you ever heard that? We all have our cross to bear. What's your cross? Maybe your cross is you're poor. And maybe your cross is you have a disease. What's your cross? Okay. Religion allows you to say, yeah, I have this awful disease, but I'm gonna persevere. Religion allows you to do that. I'm not suggesting, by the way, that if you're not religious, your life is meaningless. That's not what I'm saying at all. Okay? Question?
I forgot, but at this point, I thought it was kind of funny. Does anyone have any questions? And then you didn't look at the class. But...
I did this. Does you have any questions? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, I was raising my hand during that time. My one question, you probably don't know, but Why was it Saint Nicholas that turned into Santa Claus? Like, what was the whole deal?
I
with
do.
that?
I am aware that there was St. Nicholas, and there was some sort of a tradition where he did sneak into people's houses, and did he leave a gift or something like that? And then it evolved.
Okay.
I think like a long time ago, in like, Nicholas or whatever, he would go and like leave like money and like stuff for people. I think, yeah.
In their shoes. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
But,
There's some tradition in Chile where they
Yeah.
don't call him Santa Claus, they call him Pi Natal, and if you don't leave him a gift, he steals one of your toes. Go ahead.
What's like the criteria for a saint?
Well, it's a very Catholic thing, and there are certain criteria. There has to be documented a number of miracles that they can prove, and you have to be obviously a good person. I mean, they have to prove it. They have to prove all this stuff, and then you're a saint. So it's a definition that the Catholic Church labels people. But
Who's the most recent saint? I assume the title isn't really passed on very commonly, but like.
I actually think that they name people. Like every once in a while, they'll say, "All right, we just found another." Because people will say, "Hey, Catholic Church, we think that this person deserves to be a saint," and the Catholic Church will say, "Really? Why?" And then they'll do an investigation, and they'll say, "Well, look at this. At one point, he cured somebody of some certain disease. Okay, that's miracle number one." And I thought it was 3. It might be 2. I'm not sure. If you can prove this stuff to the satisfaction of the Catholic Church. Very good. Any questions here?
I just looked it up and it says like the most recent one is Mary of the Incarnation, and that was in 2014.
There you go.
Pretty
recent.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Let's shift gears again. Where is it? There it is. We have about 10 minutes. I would like to start the next paragraph of this Under God paper. Were you writing it? I honestly can't remember this.
You had us type it last.
You were typing it. Okay. Let's go. Okay, let's spend a few minutes here. Let's attack. I would rather work on this as a class together rather than have just assign it for you to type. So when we have a few minutes, we're going to attack. Retrieve your Under God paper. That's assuming you made one.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I do.
You tired? People have school tomorrow?
Yeah.
Apparently we're about to get
All
buried.
day long, yeah.
You got a name idea?
You don't have to go to the
What?
I
could.
Is that right?
Not in my memory. Obviously, they'll reschedule it. But yeah.
I just wanna.
If you're a junior, a snow day remains a possibility. I'd put it at 50-50 whether we're having school tomorrow. If there's no school tomorrow, the ACT will be rescheduled.
Yeah.
Wait, so there's a 50-50.
I'm saying that it's about 50. Yeah, we're supposed to get bombed with 8 to 12 hours.
I feel like we're not gonna do great.
You think I would kind of be surprised if we don't have school. Because I don't know if you've known this, but we've missed a few days of school so far this year.
Just a few.
And we have to make those up. Every day we miss from here on out, we make up every one.
I feel like I'd rather have people safe and then go another day.
Yeah, well, if you don't want to be going to school and say, hey, I want to go see that July 4th parade, then you're not voting for snow days.
But are we really gonna have enough snow days to get to July 4th?
That was a joke. I made an exaggeration.
I feel like the last like school days, though, like the last the 3 days before school, and the school day, we're all just like, let's help the community. It's
If you're a senior, you want more snow days than ever because graduation's graduation, baby. You're done. You're not coming back. But everybody else, I think
Wait,
you
that's-
want school.
That's like June 6th or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Wait, so the field trip's tomorrow if you're not a junior.
Yep.
So, I don't know, like, what if?
Which should be fun.
Well, I mean, I know, I'm not talking about that in terms of weather, like,
Oh, if there's no school, there's no field trip.
no, I know, but like, if we go to the field trip and we get hit really hard, are they gonna like out early or how's that gonna?
Okay, have we all successfully retrieved your undergrad paper? Those of you who are writing it, we've finished paragraph number 1, correct? We're ready to write the second paragraph. Yes? Are you ready? Okay. You have to remind yourself, do you think the word should be removed or do you think the word should not be removed? That is a very important question to be able to answer right now. Do you think the words should or should not be removed? Okay. Look where it says second paragraph. It's pointed to sentence number 3. Will you right now look at your third sentence of your first paragraph? Paragraph 1, sentence number 3, which should be the first reason for the side you disagree with. Look up here. This is me. I think the word should be removed, but my third sentence is the first reason the word should not be removed. This is me. I think the word should not be removed, but my third sentence lists the first reason the word should be removed. Your third sentence of paragraph number 1 should be listing the first argument for the side you do not agree with. Have I lost any of you? I'm trying to be as clear as possible. Okay. You're with me. Here we go. We are now going to write the second paragraph, but for you, it might not be paragraph number 2. It might be paragraph number 3 or number 4 or number 5. It just depends. What's your third sentence about? Is it arguing that the words should be removed because they are unconstitutional? If not, then is it your 4th sentence? Or is it your 6th sentence? Or is it your 7th sentence? Which sentence for you? Which sentence? 3 or 4 or 6 or 7? Which one is arguing that the words should be removed because they are unconstitutional? Which one is it? Okay, it's either sentence 3 or 4 or 6 or 7. Have I lost any of you? Okay, whichever number it is, 3 or 4 or 6 or 7, travel to the middle. Travel to the middle. And identify what you are about to write as either paragraph number 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Label it. Right, label it. This is paragraph number B. You will, of course, later on remove. This is paragraph number B. It is of vital importance. Maybe later on, if you happen to have flex time and you know that I'm not busy, if you right now are lost, mentally lost, you don't know what's going on right now, please, please find me. I will sit with you and grab your fingers and make you type the right letters. I will help you. But I can't help you if you don't ask, because I don't know. What's up?
So I'm arguing that the words should be removed.
Okay.
So the sentence we're doing right now, that would be.
This paragraph is arguing that the words should be removed. You agree?
Okay, yeah.
Because they are unconstitutional.
So that would be my fourth or my fifth.
So it should be either your fourth or your fifth paragraph.
Okay,
Yep,
good. I'm on the same page.
you got it. Okay. If you agree with the argument that the words should be removed because they're unconstitutional, this better be your fourth or your fifth paragraph. If you think leave the words alone, this would be your second or third paragraph. Have I lost you? Okay, now right now, one of two things. Either I have not lost you, you get it, or I've lost you, but you don't want to admit it in front of 20 of your fellow classmates. I get that. I totally get that. Come find me later, right? When I have flex time and you have flex time, sit with me. We'll work on it together. Okay? Here we go. We're going to write this paragraph. 2 minutes, we'll be done. We have to go from the top to the bottom of this column right here. Okay, you don't need to recreate this, but I'm just telling you, we need to write this paragraph following this format. Does this look familiar? Topic, sentence, context, evidence, analysis. Does that sound familiar? Why does it sound familiar? Yes.
Because we learned it in English.
Yes, this is the way you write paragraphs in English. Doesn't it make sense that the social studies department would teach you similar ways of writing to the English department? Okay. Now, we'll emphasize different things, right? Over there, they emphasize use big words and stuff like that. And I'm focused on organization, just organized thought. Okay. Let's write the topic sentence. So it's either you agree with it, in which case you state, here's the first reason it should be removed. The first reason the words under God should be removed is the words are unconstitutional. If you don't think so, you're writing it this way. The first reason some people claim the words should be removed is their belief that the words are unconstitutional. You see the difference? One is, here's why it should be. Here's what they think, them. You understand? Okay. Get it? Here's what I think. So you're just stating it as fact. They should be removed because. Here's what they say. They think. You're not buying it, though. You're buying it. You're not buying it. How are we doing? One goal left and then we're done. We need to provide a little bit of context. So what's going on right now that would require society to consider whether or not the words should be removed? A sentence. Or, and so I'm throwing this out to you as a challenge. Can you come up with finishing this sentence? At this time in the US, comma, what? What? You can use this one. 6th graders are getting arrested for not saying the pledge. Period. Awesome. Now I get it. It's a real issue. Or football players are kneeling during the national anthem. All right, I get it. Give me a little bit of background so that I can say, oh, this is a real issue. Or, here's another strategy for context. Is there anything in your first sentence that needs clarification? If you took this to Mr. Schultz and said, Mr. Schultz, I think the words under God should be removed because they're unconstitutional. Mr. Schultz would say, what's the Constitution? I don't know what that thing is. I like picking on Mr. Schultz. He's such a cutie. I just want to squeeze his cheeks. I want to take him home and put him on the couch and say, go to bed now. Okay? Just a definition about what does unconstitutional mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Here's one of the things where we all assume everyone knows what it means. What does unconstitutional mean? What does it mean? No, I mean it. What does it mean? Does anyone know what unconstitutional means?
It means it goes against something that the Constitution.
That's right. It violates this document that is the governing document of the United States. Beautiful sentence. Right? Just clarify any confusing words in your first sentence is another form of context. So either walk in the door tomorrow, this is last bit and then you're done. Walk in the door tomorrow with at this time in the United States and then finish it somehow. What's going on? Or unconstitutional means, and then just tell me what it means, right? Will you just make sure that the computers are put back in their correct spot, plugged in, have a great day, maybe see you tomorrow. Good luck, juniors. If and when you're taking the ACT tomorrow, think of me.
Why?
To inspire you. How's that?
I hope it doesn't snow 12 inches for my driver's test.
Oh, driver's test tomorrow.